Yo, what's going on, you guys? So I have something that's just been on my mind lately, and I kind of want to do more of these videos. This video today is all about how music used to be fun. You know what I mean? Like, music used to be fun. And if you feel that way, I'm not sure if I'm going to title this video, but yeah, music used to be fun. And when I say that, I'm not saying like all situations nowadays of being a professional in this space and working in music aren't fun. Don't get me wrong. Like, we love this thing with a deep passion. And that's why we do it. But like, do you remember like when you first started working with your DAW, you first started working with a few artists? Like, it was just fun to just like lock in, create. You just had this intention, this drive, this feeling of like just trying to create the greatest thing that you possibly can with whatever resources you have. You know what I mean? Like, when I started, I had a little M audio interface and I had 2 keyboards actually, which was really nice, gifted from me from my uncle. But I didn't really have much, and I had to make the most out of like, just those sounds. And like, it's just those moments when, we're fresh, right? That like I just miss in this game. And I guess more or less, I'm just speaking from the heart here, but more or less like, I'm currently in Los Angeles, and I've been in Los Angeles now since 2021. And it's been amazing. Like, a lot of people obviously migrate out here for their career trajectory, right, in music, etc. So you get a chance to meet a lot of artists, work with a lot of people. But there's this never-ending vibe here in Los Angeles that so many talk about, and it's true for a reason, and that is like everything out here just feels very transactional. And I'm not going to put every single person in that box, every single person I work with in that box, but just in general, just the vibe. Like, I just miss like people genuinely rocking with you and wanting to lock in and create music, and just do their best. But, like in this game, especially when you're in it full time like myself, and in a place like Los Angeles where cost of living, is quite high. Economy, obviously, there's all these variables. Economy right now isn't that great, et cetera, right? But it's like, why do we need to be so transactional when it comes to music? Like, it's this vibe of like people want to link with you because you have a certain amount of followers, maybe you have a certain amount of people who listen to you on Spotify. Like, to this day, any records that I've ever produced, I've never produced like with the artist name and me as primary artists, right? But this is like a trend that's been going on for a while, right? In the community, where like producers put their name alongside the artist, and they're kind of like building up their, Spotify algorithmic reach and stuff like that. I understand the game, but it's like, just things like that. Like, people will vibe with you, know you have talent, right? And just be silent. You know what I mean? Like, it just stops so much great music from happening. And it's like, I get the vibe that like there's some people who may want to even work with you, right? But like, they just don't, because they know that they could create something great with you maybe, but maybe it's just like beyond that. They don't see, there's this feeling of like people need, like, talent just gets you in the door, right? But people need, an extra 3 things on top of that for like certain collaborations to come about. You know what I mean? Like, people need obviously talent, but then people need, some type of cloud or something that you got going on for yourself. People need XYZ. People need multiple things happening here. Maybe it's even just who you know. Like, people tap in with you because of just who you know. You know what I mean? And it's a very superficial way, in a way, of things, right? And it just gets to my soul sometimes, because, man, I love this music thing, man. I love this music thing with all my heart. My whole entire being, my whole entire existence has been all of surrounding music. This is what I do full time. And yeah, I got to make a living, I got to pay bills and etc. We all got to do that, but it's just like we have to tap into just having more fun, because like just having more fun is when the best music is always made. Like, and that's when you learn too, like when you're just, you know, having fun, throwing stuff at the wall, just like figuring out, you know, what sounds good, being, you know, having a space to like just feel like, okay, like, you know, this doesn't sound good, let's pivot this way. But it's like, I guess more so I'm speaking from my perspective of like existing out here in LA as a professional producer and whatnot for some time, and, you know, continuing to create my career out of it. It's just like, it feels as though sometimes, I'm not saying this for every situation, but it feels as though sometimes there's like almost no room for people to connect with the basis of like, let's have fun, right? I know that there's like a lot of other things involved into why that is actually difficult. You know, logistically, like it can be a nightmare just like getting around LA. People got to work multiple jobs. It could just be a time, and you know, it could be a timing thing as well in general that just doesn't allow as many creatives to link up as much as I would hope, you know what I mean? But that gets me to my next part too, is that like it's still great to move out here, but the one thing that caught me a little bit off guard, this was one of them, but the next thing that caught me a little bit off guard was just like the loneliness that you can experience out here for real. Yeah, and I think it ties back into all of these aspects that I just talked about. It's like whenever I felt like I'm more visible on the internet, like just posting, especially Instagram, but just posting more, showing more of like who I'm working with, like what studios I'm at, whatever. Just like being more visible on Instagram, I feel like that's when a lot more people started to tap in with me, and a lot more things started to just naturally transpire. It didn't feel like work, you know, like communicating and just like interpersonal stuff, dealing with people. And, you know, I understand like when things are more visible, it's just more convenient for people to like think of you, right? Because you're more visible. It's like easy as that. But like, man, is that what we've boiled ourselves down to nowadays? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's why it just feels like we're just in this game now of like constantly having to show up, even if we're not even providing any necessary value. It's just like, yeah, I mean, obviously you guys see it, man. Like, it's like people are just constantly just showing up, just like, hey, like I still exist. You know what I mean? Whatever that is in a content form, more or less, that's like the vibe of why a lot of people are showing up. I try, of course, to like give as much value when I do show up, specifically on this platform, on YouTube, where I can really just like sit down and like show you guys everything that I am doing in the studio with my students, long form. I tend to love it more. But I digress. Back to the point. Yeah, the loneliness really is serious when you're in this game full time. And it's tough. You know, I think that's one of the toughest things that I've had to deal with and still am dealing with at times. Is just being comfortable, like trying to find the most comfort I possibly can in knowing that my path and my existence is pretty lonely, because, you know, I don't have a partner in this, you know, like a production partner or nothing like that. Like, it's just me, and it's always been me, and I'm always just figuring it out. Pair that with, you know, the general vibes of like existing in a very like a hyper commercialized industry space like LA. It just makes it even more tricky in some ways, you know what I mean? Because as I said, like, you know, so much aspects have just sucked the fun out of making music. You know, it's like, yes, we're professionals in this thing. Yes, we want to do this thing for a living. But we gotta remember that the reason is because we love this thing so much. Like, we love this thing so much, we want to spend our days doing this, continuing to grow, continuing to develop, continuing to just put out great work that lives on. I think for me, that is some of the biggest reasons. And just to connect with people through my music and make people feel something and help people go through things that without that soundtrack behind, you know, like they wouldn't have been able to go through otherwise, you know, whether that is through my own personal music or music I produce with others, or just something that I even mix and just like bring to life in a certain way for someone. Like if that allows somebody halfway across this world to just like feel something and allow them to go through life, just whatever they're dealing with, man, that's everything. And the crazy thing is like those moments honestly happen in silence. You know what I mean? Like, well, a lot of times we never know. Like in this moment that could be happening for me right now, right? Or possibly even you. But I feel like those are the moments that are one of the biggest reasons why I do this and continue to do this, but I'll never know fully that impact, you know what I mean? Unless it's like commercialized. Anyway, this is the first video actually that I have done where I'm just sitting down and I'm just sharing thoughts. And so my apologies if it feels like it's a little like not as pristine as my other content, but who cares? If you stayed to this long, I'm super glad I was able to just sit here and talk with you, because I actually want to continue doing more of these videos and just feel like I'm having more of an open conversation with people beyond just production related stuff, mixing related stuff, whatever. And just share my thoughts, share what I'm going through, share lessons that I've learned, share things that I'm still learning. Yeah, just share more of like the process of actually being a full-time music producer, engineer, artist in general. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this type of content. So first of its kind, so be kind. Take a look in the description if you guys want to check out any of the music production, mixing resources I have for you. Some free, some paid. I got a bunch of good stuff on there that you can check out in the description. Yeah, just thank you for just sitting through if you're still here and just tuning in. Leave a comment below. Let me know if any of this resonated with you. Let's open up a conversation. I'd love to tap in with you guys. See you on the next video soon. Peace.